Good afternoon, guys. I know it's a bit later than what I usually do for stream. I'm doing a late stream today, unfortunately. I was a bit tired, so I just had to hop on still for you guys because I know you guys are waiting for this video. So it wasn't completely out the picture for me to hop on today. The race that we're doing today is the race... The race that I'm doing today is basically the Grand Prix race that happened this Sunday. That Grand Prix race was extremely boring and a bit annoying considering the FIA didn't make it a wet race, so unfortunately it was a dry race. But let's see what happens when we go to Hungary. When we go to Hungary, let's see what happens then. Alright, we're heading to Belgium, because the Grand Prix race this past weekend was at Belgium, so not the best race. Alright, so it's 60 minutes of practice, full qualifying rain, funny enough, and then all 44 laps which is the complete full race at Spa, which is 44 laps on track. So let's do it, guys. Let's have fun and let's head right into this. Let me just change something really quick to just check out something. Okay, leave it out there and then see what happens, and let's do this. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna head out, do six laps, and then do all the race strategies and hopefully, or the race programs, and hopefully it burns the time down. If not, I'll try to speed up the time if needed. So right now I'm gonna head out on track and do six laps, and then come back and then do a race strategy and maybe take a break.
Okay, so I just want to remind you to keep an eye on your tyre usage. We're going to have to give 2 sets back at the end of this session, so they'll be unavailable for the rest of the weekend. We're going to hand over the 2 most worn sets, so don't ruin the tyres that you might want to use later. To view information on your current levels of tyre wear and damage, press the MFD button to open the multifunction display, and then again to cycle to the tyres and the damage screen.
And race strategy. Okay, cool. Alright, so let me go back, head out on track. And for this purpose, we're going to do a full-on
Don't push
drive
the car just yet. Track is still green. Try to take it easy for the first couple of laps.
Alright guys, we're gonna head to Spa. So we're gonna head up, head on to the track, sorry. I know we are at Spa. And honestly, this is like the best part of the track to overtake. It's just like the longest part of the track, to be honest with you. I've actually enjoyed driving on this track a little bit. It's fun. No, this track really is something else. Very high speed, but in a wet race, it can be exciting, as the rest of the F1 community knows how exciting this track is when it's wet. But due to the FIA not wanting to see wet racing, they delayed the race yesterday by 40 minutes and made it a dry race. This is a very good track for a wet race. And as you guys are going to see, for qualifier is going to be in rain. I don't know if it's going to be the whole qualifier that's going to be in rain, which might deviate how the race goes, because the race is going to be in dry, so it might not be the same. But for qualifies in rain. So to get to full speed in qualifier, I might not have complete DRS. Or it might just be Q1 that's raining, and Q2 and Q3 it's dry. So let's head up Radion and Eau Rouge. There we go. Favorite part of the track, when you're coming up that high speed corner on the hill. When you're coming up there, it's full throttle. Then go around the hairpin. And then down the stretch. So and then you gotta go flat out here. Sometimes I don't go completely flat out here because I usually go off track. But that's not my fault. That's just level of steering, or if I have a lot of oversteer, I usually go wide there. And also then going flat out here as well too. This is another long stretch for like overtaking if you can get it, but it's also another long like flat out, and then when you hit the curve, you basically finish and then head right into the last two turns going into the stretch over the finish line. So yeah, see, you had the fastest time, but I have the fastest time now because I just dropped it. Ooh, look at this man. In F1 2023, that corner was so flat that the level of speed you had to have coming down from the straight to go around the corner, I don't know if they actually, made it different in real life as well, but for some reason the surface in the game change. So the surface in F1 23 was so much different from how it is here. The surface in this game right now in F1 24 is what the track is right now, what the track actually feels like, looks like. But in F1 23 it was not fully realistic to a certain degree, and a lot of the buildings and places on the track in F1 24 were not there in 2023. Like, as you guys can see the side of the track where you see like rocks and stuff like that, like I'll explain to you guys when I go up Eau Rouge again. When I go up Eau Rouge and Radion, like for instance, that corner house has been there for decades, right? And then as you guys see, you see like the rock under the grandstands going up here as well, up into Radion and Eau Rouge. That rock underneath the grandstand in F1 2023, that was not there. It looked completely different. So when I started playing this, I'm like, how come this map look different? Then I happened to, you know, just Google Spa-Francorchamps, and then I saw the look, and I'm like, huh, it looks like the real thing. So now I was a bit happy to see it was a bit more realistic than just, you know, than just a simulated version of the map. So yeah, like I said, I have enough talking for the time being. So I'm gonna do 3 more laps and then we'll head back into the pits again. Oops, one more go wide there and apex. One a little bit wide, that's okay. Yeah. So this is what. So I'm in the 4th lap and wow, Stroll's on 2, Stroll's P2. Just shocking. Very, very shocking to see Lance Stroll up here. Yeah, I'm driving really bad because I'm cutting corners I shouldn't be cutting. Why is Lance Stroll so high up in the times, bro? Why is he a P2? Oh wait, none of the heavy hitters except Hamilton and myself is on track yet. Enjoy the last 2 laps, guys. And guys, when I'm on my 7th lap, I'm gonna do a quick breakdown of like something quick that I wanted to go over from especially what happened in the race or during qualifier with Lewis Hamilton. I wanted to go over something to explain you guys something, especially when I'm right here in that corner. I want to do a little breakdown of track limits for those who don't really understand track limits like that. I want to break it down a little bit, so when I go around on that lap, I will switch the camera, the game, you guys. Hopefully, I go over it properly when I get off, when I get up through the turn. But let's see. Okay, some of the heavy hitters are how Carlos Sainz is out on track. Who else is out on track for heavy hitters? Yeah, no, I think it was just him and myself. So yeah, right up here, I'm gonna do a quick breakdown of track limits when you get to the top of this track. It's one of the most easiest ways to get like your time deleted, especially going over the curve up here. So let's see how well I do pushing up here. Oops. Alright. Sorry for the pause like that. Let's just wait for me to go up into the corner, then I'll switch my camera. Alright. Let's switch cameras and do this. Let's go to this one. Actually, I think I might have to go into camera mode for this one, actually. Okay. So, let me just hide this really quick. So, as you guys see here, when you come up, I'm gonna just do a turn. So, when you come up from a rouge, right, you're here, roughly. You're roughly coming up on that little line. When you get to the top of it, there's a little corner of the track that can really make you lose track time, right? And that is basically right here. As you guys can see, is my tire. I have 2 tires over the line. If I went really wide, let me see if I can go like this. Yeah, if I went really wide here, I would have been, my front 2 tires would have been over. My front 2 would have been over. But I might have to go back a little bit just to give you guys a little bit of context. Let's see how far down I was. Because like even here, where is it? Let me stop. Go back into camera mode. But even here is technically consider. Like I technically, this is one way to lose a lap, because as you guys can see, my car is fully off the line. Like, because right here, not only that I don't have no tires on the track at all, it's all on the curb. And if I go around the car on the other side, you can see I'm like this close to like touching the grass. And this is like when I'm heading into Rouge and then Radion. But this is right before I hit the Rouge corner. So you can tell how fast I was going because I went completely off the curb just to go up into the hill. Right? So let me go back onto it so you guys can see like I'm completely, like here I'm fine because I have 2 tires on track, but then when I went right into it, I was technically off the track for like a good, I don't know, hundredths of a second. Then when I pushed up, you can see my front my front right and my rear left tire was over, and then when I went up into the turn now, right about here, I didn't fully go off. Yeah, right here, right exact moment here. Let me see. So at this moment, I believe I was not on track. Let's see. Was I on track? No, I wasn't. I really was not on track right here. I was all curb. So let me go into that mode again just to give you guys a little bit more. So I'm in free camera. So right here, this is technically track limit. So I believe yesterday when Lewis Hamilton did his qualifying for the race, I believe this is exactly what happened to him when he came up to Rouge. He completely went off track right around here, but not, I don't believe he went as I think he went as much as I did right now, because for him his lap time got deleted from that. So look, when you come up here and you hit that curb like this, you will lose your lap time, because right there for a split second, a split second right here, you can see that I'm completely off the track on this side right here. My wheels are off the track right here. On the right side, there's none of my tires are on the track. I'm completely on the curb, and then I go back on track after. That's how you can lose lap time while driving. Even there as well too, but like really coming up on this side is how I really lose lap time. But if I went wide, which I did, I went off on this side and then came back on track. But yeah, when you're doing qualifier or any like major, like when you're going down for qualifying laps, that can make you lose your lap time and get disqualified for track limits. But for me, I don't lose my lap time. I most likely lose a lot of time on track, which entails like my lap is not gonna be as fast as I would want it to. I know that took a little bit more time to explain or to go into details, but I thought it was, necessary for you guys, from my point of view, from someone who actually watched what happened. I don't know how many of you guys watched the race on Sunday or watched qualifying the Saturday, so no, but that was just very, very interesting to know. And it, like, honestly, watching the actual lap from Lewis Hamilton, that's the only part of the track that he had a problem. The rest of the lap was perfect. Oops.
Repeat that, I've got some interference here.
Yeah, Gasly made me went around and I didn't get to pit properly.
Right, so our fastest lap currently 1:46.9.
So let's head right into this. How much time there is left on track? There's about 43 minutes left in this practice session before qualifying. So let's head right into it by doing tire management, and then
to view your current tire, brake and engine temperatures, press the MFD button to open the multifunction display, and then press it again to cycle through until you reach the temperature information screen.
Okay, not bad. So let me head right into, we'll see what the
because temperature's so important for your tyres. Cool down laps are now vital after a push lap so that we don't light up the rubber too much, not to mention recharging the battery. We need to be sure we can manage the tyres through a lap, so try to keep the wear down through each corner. Be especially careful accelerating on corner exit.
Yeah, that's my problem. I burn a lot of tire pushing through corner exit, so I can get the most speed out the car, but it really damages my tires a lot, as you guys are gonna see right here. As soon as I turn, I accelerate out extremely fast. Like, this is a very fast car. I think I might have a slight engine problem. I'm not too sure what it is. Okay, so yeah, my ICE is gonna have to be replaced for practice, so I might do that after this lap before I go out to do the last race program race strategy. So before I do that, hopefully this lap is going well so far. You guys can see my tire management is perfect because I try not to bite the curb too much as possible. If I can avoid it, I'll avoid it, but when I need to, I go on the curb. Because as you guys can see, I'm 2 seconds ahead of the actual tire wear time, and also I'm in purple for that.
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers.
Yeah, I have very low tire wear, which is good. So, sorry. So right here, as you guys can see on the left in the corner, on the right in the lower corner, I have a few engine parts that I might need to go into the pits and change before the race, because I can't change them after practice, because if I change them in qualifying, it's really gonna cause me to have a penalty for the race. And unlike this race, the 2025 Spa race had a featured race, in this case a sprint race. They took out the sprint race in 2024 because in 2024 last year they didn't have a sprint race in Spa, but the year before that in 2023 they did have a sprint race in Spa. So in the 2023 version of the F1 game, they had a sprint in Spa. So it's kind of interesting to see them bring it back this year. You know, as you guys know, Max Verstappen won that sprint by, I don't know what he did, but it was just magical work. He won, I was happy, but unfortunately, he didn't win the...
Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
He didn't win the Grand Prix race because, you know, it was a dry race, but his car was set up for a wet. Okay, so yeah, I could have done better. There's a lot more purple than red.
Right,
so that's great.
At best lap, 1 minute 46.7.
So I'm happy there's a lot more purple than red this time around. So that's great. So yeah, I need to change the engine parts on my car. So if I don't, As you guys can see, this one is like yellow. This one wasn't so bad, but I left it, and then when this one I switched it, but now this is yellow. I need to put it to 3, and that's gonna take 24 minutes out of 30 minutes of my track time.
To view current strategy and race objectives, press the MFD
Which
button to
tells
open the
me
multifunction display,
that
and then press it again to cycle through until you reach the strategy and objective screen.
it tells me that there's a very heavy chance I might not be going back out on track. So that's gonna take 33 minutes out of 34 minutes to finish. So I am not going back out on track after this, because there's gonna be like about a minute left of practice by time the time is finished.
Okay, we're 20th in the speed trap,
And I won't be
290.2
able to go
kilometers
back
per
out
hour.
on track because of the time. And even if I skip forward, it's gonna be like 1 minute of time. So unfortunately, yeah, this is me. I'm not going back out. So with that being said, until the repair time is basically done, I can't head back out on track. And I'd rather do these repairs before I do a race, so the car is fully up to function, instead of like having the engine not fully good, which might slow me down during the race. So stay tuned, guys.
drag reduction system, or DRS, allows you to gain speed on certain straights. We call these areas the DRS zones. You can use your DRS in these areas at will during practice and qualifying, but in the race, DRS is only available if you're within 1 second of the car in front. The bar at the bottom of your MFD will fill up as you approach the DRS zone, and once it starts flashing, press the DRS button to activate.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining, whoever you guys are right now.
Okay, mate, our best lap so far, 1:46.7.
I was just about to let you guys know that, like, I was at the top of the tables, but I got pushed down from the top of the table by my teammate, Verstappen, because he has the first better sector than I did, and better sector. He has a better sector 1 and a better sector 3 than I did, and I still have the best sector.
Okay, we're 20th in the speed trap, 290.2 kilometers per hour.
And as you guys clearly saw, that my car's under repair. I can't really do much. I can really move it forward, but like, if I do move it forward, like I said, it's only gonna be like maybe 1 minute left on track. So I'm gonna speed it up, but like when the timer finishes, it's gonna be like 1 minute left. So I am potentially not going back on track again for another drive. So from this, I'll be heading right into qualifier, and then yeah. See, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1. Yep, this is going to be finished in 20 something seconds, but there's like 40 seconds left.
We're expecting some rain soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
Yeah, like I said, right there's the first part of quality might be rain, so let's see. Repairs are finishing like 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The repairs are finished, but there's 19 seconds left on track of practice time. So, like I said, I'm not heading back out on track for that. And I don't mind being second in practice. It just means I have the second fastest car in track. That's about it. So, practice is officially over, and it's time for qualifying.
Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back shortly for more Formula One action.
So, like I said, it's going to be raining for quali, so let's head into this with an ease hard that I might not be the fastest on track. Alright, let's do this. Alright, let's head right into qualifying, and like I said guys, qualifying might potentially be in rain, so let's do that right now. So enjoy quali, and hopefully I get P1 for the race, which is 44 laps. So, and there's a dry race, by the way guys. So, and as you guys can see, it has the sun and the rain, so which means it might be wet for the first part of qualifying, and maybe Q2 and Q3 is going to be dry. So let's see what happens. So enjoy guys.
Welcome to the behemoth that they value so highly. This is Spa. It's high speed. It is really challenging. We have elevation, we have dramatic corners, and we have one driver in a few moments' time who will take pole position.
Alright guys, let's head out and do this. Enjoy the lap guys. And I'll see you guys after the lap. Hopefully I have a great lap, so stay tuned to that and see what happens. So when I head back into the pits, I'll go over my lap times with you guys when I think everybody has done a lap. So enjoy.
Okay, we've only got one lap of fuel remaining. lap, please.
So as you guys saw, my lap time is a 1:45.0, and I have a 1 second
Right, our
gap
best
on
lap
London
so
Norris.
far, 1:45.0.
I have the fastest sector 1, which is a 31.1, fastest sector 2, which is a 45.5, and then the fastest sector 3, which is a 28.4. So let's see what happens in the next few minutes. So enjoy those who are on track, and yeah, if I don't think I need an improvement lap because I did an improvement lap, but let's see what happens by the end of Q1, and I think it's going to be raining soon if the rain didn't start already. Camera, yep, it's still dry. So enjoy, guys, and I think everybody should be coming in soon because I feel like everybody already's done one lap already. Yep, most people are coming in, so Max is so far, Lewis is so far. Oscar should be coming in by the looks of it. Yep. I'm expecting Hamilton to come in as well too. Yep, he is. So is Max. So since most everybody's gonna be back in the pits, is gonna basically wait until everybody goes back out on track. And as you guys can see, Max is second in the standing with 278 points. So let's hope. Let's hope I can win this race, and I know I will, because I'm in the lead right now. So let's see. So talk to you guys in about a few minutes when everybody goes out on track for their improvement laps. So enjoy. Looking at nothing.
Right, so our best lap so far, 1:45.0. We're 7th in the speed trap, 297.6 kilometers per hour.
What do you mean? Like, there's no biblical evidence that Jesus even knew how to drive. Bro, Jesus drove a Honda. But, bro, do you not read the Bible? He didn't like talking about it. Look, John chapter 12, verse 49, he says, "For I do not speak of my own accord." Yeah, you go to hell. Like, Jesus take the weak.
So yeah, guys, that was the end of Q1. Let's see who is out at the end of Q1. So out in Q1, you have Nico Hulkenberg in P20 in a Haas, Valtteri Bottas in P19 in Kicksaba, his teammate Zhou Guanyu in P18, Logan Sargent in Williams in P17, and last but not least, Kevin Magnussen in a Haas in P16. And for Q2, who all's going into Q2 is Yuki Tsunoda, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and myself. So let's head right into Q3, and yeah, let's have some fun with this and get at least one great lap and do a second lap to improve my time. So let's head right into that right now and do it.
It's Ross. That's right, man.
Yeah, sorry for the laughing there. I just read something funny. Let's head right into this first lap and let's see if I get a good lap, guys. So enjoy the laps. I'm probably not gonna be talking for it, so enjoy, guys.
leading the pack, that's P1. And we're in front of Piastri, Stroll and Ocon. Fastest lap at the moment, 1 minute 44.9. Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes' time. Rain in 10 minutes. Okay, we can take you this lap.
Alright guys, so let's see what my track time is. I did a 144.6, obviously heading at the fastest sector 1.
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
But I got the fastest sector 2 and sector 3, so that's pretty good with Charles Leclerc in P2. And I haven't seen Max. Max is in P15. He is in a flying lap, so I guess after his flying lap we'll see where his time jumped. And I feel like he just jumped to the top of the table, and he did. He jumped to P3. So enjoy.
Best lap so far, 1:44.9.
I'll see you guys at the end of this when everybody's heading on track to do an improvement lap. So stay tuned guys. Hope you guys enjoy so far. Because after this, it's lights out and it's go time. So, stay tuned guys, and this should be fun. Do I even need to go out on track? I'm gonna do it anyways, even though I'm a little bit late on that. Let's do it anyways. Let's see what happens. Let's see how much time I have to go around before the time finishes, and I doubt I'll have enough time.
And that's just 30 seconds left in the session.
Okay, I should have enough time to go around past and past let's see. Yep, I have enough time. Me and Leclerc both have enough time. Alright, let's see if I need this improvement lap. Which I doubt I need that. The fact that I went up right there and then there were rules like that tells me that I did need it, but I didn't at the same time. There's that first sector back. Yeah, I didn't need this because look at my delta time. It's not improving at all.
First position, front of the pack. And just behind us are Norris, Verstappen and Leclerc. Okay, so the current fastest lap, 1 minute 44.9.
That's P1, guys. P1. Alright, let's see who is out in Q2, and let's head on to Q3 right after that. So, everybody who is out in Q2 is, we have Daniel Ricciardo in a Visa Cash App RB in P15. We have, in P15, we have Pierre Gasly in the Alpine in P14. We have Yuki Tsunoda in another Visa Cash App RB. In P13, we have Esteban Ocon in Q12 in an Alpine. Esteban Ocon in an Alpine in Q12. Lance Stroll in an Aston Martin as a final person out in Q2. In an Aston Martin in P11. So both Visa Cash App RB is out in Q2, and both Alpines are out in Q2. Let's see who is heading into Q3 for the final run for pole position. You have Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Alex Albon in a Williams. That's great. Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, and myself heading into Q3. Let's go. Let's do this. This determines the start of the race. So let's see how it goes. So stay tuned, and I'm gonna do my first run out, and hopefully I get a great lap and do not need an improvement. So that is great. So let's do this. Enjoy the lap, guys. And as you guys can see, it's raining, but it's raining and I have soft tires, so let's hopefully I get a fast lap in before the track really gets drenched or dry where I have to slow down. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully it should be better. because right now the track is a bit wet. It's not fully raining, but it's lightly raining, but that can mess up your lap time because the track is getting wet and there won't be enough grip with soft tires. So let's see what happens, guys.
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. Understood. Stopping this lap. At least another 10 minutes until this rain evens out. Stay alert out there. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now. Okay, so as for the cars around us, just ahead are Norris, Sainz and Hamilton. And we're in front of Verstappen, Russell and Albon. Fastest lap at the moment, 1:55.9.
So yeah, guys, I'm gonna switch my tires and then head right back out on track, like Max Verstappen just did.
Right, so our fastest lap currently 1:57.7.
So you're telling me even right now I switched to intermediates, like, you're not gonna give it to me? Like, what the shit? Max just went out. Wait, is he out? Yeah, he went out with intermediates. Why the hell am I can't switch to intermediate tires right now. Yeah, he's in the outlap in intermediates with 3 minutes left to go. I'm gonna switch my tires and head back out because it's a bit ridiculous. Let's see. Let's hope my lap time improve, because there's no way I got dropped that much. I got dropped that much in Canada.
Rain's getting worse. Be very careful.
This is for pole position. If I don't get pole position, I blame the rain. But let's see. I need to get pole, bro, because there's no way. This is not fair. This is truly not fair, man. Yeah, I didn't get pole. I did not get pole position, but I had to work for pole position. I got P6. If you guys think that wasn't fair, let me know down in the comments. Let's see how much time I really shaved off my sector 3. Where am I? Where am I? P3. Wow. Okay. I pushed myself up on, but I didn't get pole position here. But I got P3. So
qualifying wrapped up. We now have our grid line up for the big race tomorrow.
Wow.
Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Fernando Alonso in P3, that in P1 for pole. That's crazy. It's like he's getting back his glory days right now, when he was winning championships. So I'm not gonna. Well, there's no one that's out. It's just the top 10 and wherever they are. So I'm not really gonna go over it. You guys are gonna see where they are when they do the lineup, the grid lineup. So you'll see. So I'm not going to change the difficulty anymore. I'm going to leave it where it is, because just to keep it balanced, just not to go too crazy. Because as you guys saw, I had Lando Norris with a fast car and Fernando ahead of me with a slightly fast car, but not as fast, but ahead of me. So let's leave it there and then see what happens. So stay tuned and enjoy the race introduction, and then yeah, we're gonna get right on it after this. And yes, guys, we're doing 44 laps, which is the complete laps in total for the track. The track is 44 laps, and we're doing all 44 of them. So it's gonna be a long race. So Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I will talk to you guys again just before the what do you call it? Just before the formation lap, and yeah, and then I'll see you guys after the race or mid race if anything crazy happens or any kind of fighting on track for position. So let's get to it.
The Belgian Grand Prix, a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since a certain Michael Schumacher in 1992. One of the circuits that makes Formula One, Formula One. Welcome to the Belgian Grand Prix. We are about to go racing through the Ardennes Forest, 4.3 miles of long straights, fast corners, and huge elevation changes. Turn 1 at La Source moves straight into Eau Rouge, eventually climbing into Radion. They are corner names to get the heart pumping. It's old school, and we adore it. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Henry, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Hamilton, Verstappen, Russell, Albon, Leclerc, Stroll, Ocon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Sargent, Joe, Bottas, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say joining us for this intriguing race is Anthony Davidson. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres. As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up and get ready for lights out, let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one. It will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Alright guys, so enjoy the race and I'll see you guys at the end of the race, or I'll talk to you guys if there's any drama on track mid-race. So enjoy all 44 laps, and yeah.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 9.9 seconds. They're on fresh softs. They're in 11th. And the time last lap, 1:52.2. Okay, mate, we've got some clear track in front of us, and let's make the best of it. So please make this next one a very fast lap. Alright, we'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in this strategy. You've got 11 laps until your pit window opens. Oh mate, you made that look easy. Nice work. That's why I love working with you. Smashed it. Gap to your teammate behind, 24.9 seconds. Okay, they're on old softs. They're in 11th. Your last lap time, 1 minute, 52.2. You only have to stop once now, 1 stop left. You've got 4 laps until your pit window opens. Approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. Conditions look stable at the moment, no rain currently expected. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now. Okay, be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tyre grip anytime now. Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap, box this lap. Okay, mate, lap times are a little erratic at the moment. Let's try and close up the difference between them. Okay, pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach. Okay, don't worry about that target for now. Let's just focus on this pit stop. Okay, go, go, go. Perfect job from you and the crew there, mate. We're delighted with that. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track. so you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors. I don't think you need to be worried, just some bad data. So keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems. Look out for a bit of understeer when trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past. Max is in the pits. Max in the pits. Yellow flag. Okay, mate, lap times are a little erratic at the moment. We need consistency, so let's try and stabilise them. And the time last lap, 1:49.0. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 40.4 seconds. Gap to your teammate behind, 41.4 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. They're in 12th. Time last lap, 1:51.1. You're leading the pack, that's P1. Norris is behind you. They're on fresh mediums. That was our last stop, no more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. 21 laps to go. work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 46.8 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. They're sitting in 7th. And the time last lap, 1:51.4. Okay, nice work. Really good job with that target, mate. You're in first position, front of the pack. Norris behind. They're on fresh mediums. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. 13 laps to go. leading the pack, that's P1. Norris is behind you. They're on fresh mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. You're in first position, front of the pack. Norris behind. They're on fresh mediums. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, we're into the last 10 laps now. Okay, mate. Tyres are running hot, mate. Tyres are running hot. Please keep the temps down if you can. Okay, mate, we didn't get what we needed there, I'm afraid. But head down, chin up, and let's focus on the rest of the race. They're on fresh mediums. They're currently 5th. Your last lap time, 1 minute 50.8. You're leading the pack, that's P1. Norris is behind you. They're on fresh mediums. Look after these tyres now. You want to finish the race on this compound. Okay, 7 laps to go. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. You're in first position, front of the pack. Norris behind. Okay, a full lap separates you now. They're on old mediums. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Okay, just 5 laps until the end. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Final lap, final lap. Push, push. Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
Ooh. Race is finished. 44 laps.
A difficult race then on one of the all-time classic circuits, but they've persevered to take the win here today.
I mean, I'm tempted to use the boring word. Not quite yet, but I don't know how the others will be feeling.
You see?
This
I knew it.
because they've got that dominance on their side.
He
Clearly,
said it.
They'll be looking at the championship now.
The fact that he said he don't want to use the boring word tells you how boring this race really is.
Red Bull put up an
It's funny
outstanding
that the
fight for front
commentators in the
position
game
today,
said it.
and it's great to see it
And
paid
this
off
is how
for
they
them.
actually said it
They
in
do
real
so
life. That's
much for the
crazy.
sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
That's funny. They actually called the race boring in the game and in real life. That's hilarious.
And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Oh. Okay, so Max actually made it into the points. He went from like P11 all the way up to P5. That's great, but I'm seriously outscoring him now. But yeah, let's head right into the standings, check out the standings and see what happened. Oops, nope, I don't want to go into the full race review. Let's go into the standings. So I am currently 53 points ahead of Max right now. In the driver's standing, I have 341. He has 288. And obviously Red Bull is still ahead in the Constructors' Championship. We have 629 points. Majority of those points are for me. And for the for the drivers championship, I'm number 1, Max is number 2, Oscar Piastri is number 3, and Fernando Alonso is number 4, with Lando Norris number 5. And yeah, I'm just gonna give you the top 5, not top 10. But yeah, so let's head right into the review. But before I do it, let's see what happened. So collision, DNF, collision with Gasly, warning, mechanical failure, DNF, collision, Valtteri and Sargent, collision, warning. Yeah, so they got the warning for the same thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's head right into the highlights, even though it's going to be very short because the race was boring after all. That was great. Let me go back on that actually. Look at me and Piastri going up a Rouge in Radion. I passed him literally in Radion going to the Calabout straight. That's crazy. That was a good overtake. Really great overtake. Then he passed me here, but then we bumped wheels for the position, which I ended up taking back. And then he took it again. I bumped him because I had to give him back the position to avoid spinning. But I was gonna get him back before I crossed that finish line. There was a little bit of fighting on track between me and Oscar. Not a lot, but it was enough. Right there, that's when I passed him, yep. And then the last lap. So with that being said, let's head right into advance. Great win. Ooh, I'm almost at a 95 for experience. That's great. And yes, that is going up. See, my recognition is higher than Max now. I'm at a 51, he's at a 49. That's good. Very, very good. I don't think I got all of these. Oh, I did. Surprised. Alright, so the next track will be Monza, which is one of my favorite tracks of all time. It is an Italian track. So it is one of my favorite tracks out of the 2 Italian tracks there is. So that will be done tomorrow. So let's do it. Let's go through some small details, and then after that I'm gonna head out and end the stream after that. So like I said, oh, so summer break actually, because why am I forgetting that there's summer break in between? Yep. I just need to get to 99. Once I get to 99, or I think get to a certain amount of points, I can finish it. This I'll save for later. Here. My accolades right now. I'm so close to finishing in tier 3 for championship points, man. I'm so close. Cause like it's 3,000 right now out of 288. 7. I'm missing 113 points to finish that off. My rivalry right now with Max, as you guys can see, I'm beating him here as well. Alright. And then
the
here.
championship rivalry tracks the amount of points you've got in the Drivers' Championship in relation to your rival. You'll need to lead by a certain amount to be declared the winner. Here you can see the gap needed to win, as well as the rewards that will be given.
So as you guys can see, I'm currently missing 7 points to beat Max in this rivalry. If I get 7 more points, I basically win a rivalry between me and him. I'm missing 7 points for that. So as you guys can see here, there's the teammate rivalry, which I'm already winning. Then the championship rivalry, I'm missing 7 points from that. And then the driver's rated rival, I'm missing 1 rating from that to win. So, but I'm gonna win the championship rival next race for sure if I win. Or even if I gain more points than him, even if he's ahead of me, I'm still gonna win. Yeah, doing well so far. Yep. So I'm currently on a winning streak. So from Austria, it's 2 wins: sprint win and race win. So that's 2. Silverstone, that's 3. Hungary, that's 4, and now Belgium, that is 5 race wins in the league. The next race is going to be in Netherlands Zandvoort, which is Max's home race and home track. Let's see if I can beat him at his own track. Probably will, but let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go over my stats again. But yeah, let's do it. So that was an overview of a little bit of everything that's happening. I'm just gonna go past this summer break. Obviously, I'm gonna leave it here, and then when I come back, I will go straight into the next race, which is gonna be Zandvoort. As you guys can clearly see here, where is it? The next race is Zandvoort. Then after Zandvoort, it's Monza. So yeah. Let's head back. So thank you for joining, guys. I know it was a bit of a long stream, but long and a little bit boring because, you know, 44 races can get very boring after a while. So I understand for those who didn't stay around. Completely understand. That's totally okay. I understand that for sure. But thanks for joining, and see you guys tomorrow night for the next race. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys then. Have a good night or good morning wherever you guys are. Thank you for joining. Peace out.